Certainly. Here is an overview of the history of Angola. Pre-colonial era. The region that is now Angola has been inhabited by various ethnic groups for thousands of years. The Khoisan peoples were the earliest known inhabitants, followed by the Bantu-speaking groups who migrated into the region around the first millennium CE. Prominent ethnic groups in Angola include the Ovimbundu, Mbundu, the Congo, and Lunda. Portuguese colonization. Portuguese explorers arrived in Angola in the late 15th century, led by Diogo Caio. The Portuguese established trade relationships with local kingdoms and began the process of colonization. By the 16th century, Angola had become an important source of slaves for the transatlantic slave trade. Portuguese colonization intensified in the 19th century, with the establishment of large plantations and the imposition of direct colonial rule. Colonial exploitation and resistance. During the colonial period, Angola experienced widespread exploitation and oppression. The Portuguese imposed forced labor, confiscated land, and suppressed African culture and identity. Various resistance movements emerged, including the Kimbundu and Mbundu revolts, as well as the anti-colonial movements led by figures like Antonio Agostinho Neto and Holden Roberto. Independence struggle. In the mid-20th century, nationalist movements demanding independence gained momentum. The Popular Movement for the Liberation of Angola, MPLA, the National Front for the Liberation of Angola, FNLA, and the National Union for the Total Independence of Angola, UNITA, were the main groups fighting against Portuguese rule. The struggle for independence was marked by armed conflict and political rivalries among the nationalist factions. Independence and civil war. Angola finally achieved independence from Portugal on November 11, 1975. However, the country descended into a prolonged civil war between the MPLA government, supported by the Soviet Union and Cuba, and UNITA, backed by the United States and South Africa. The Civil War lasted for nearly 3 decades, resulting in immense human suffering and infrastructural damage. Post-war reconstruction and stability. The Civil War officially ended in 2002 when UNITA leader Jonas Savimbi was killed. After the war, Angola focused on post-conflict reconstruction and reconciliation. The country experienced significant economic growth due to its rich natural resources, particularly oil and diamonds. However, challenges such as poverty, corruption, and inequality persist. Cultural heritage. Angola is culturally diverse, with numerous ethnic groups, each with its own traditions, languages, and customs. The country has a rich artistic and musical heritage, including genres like semba, kizomba, and kuduro. Traditional ceremonies and practices, such as the Mwila initiation ceremony and the Mukanda rite of passage, are still observed by many communities. Today, Angola continues to strive for economic development, social progress, and political stability. The country has made efforts to diversify its economy beyond oil and diamonds, investing in sectors like agriculture, infrastructure, and tourism. Angola's history is shaped by the struggle for independence, the impact of colonialism, and the challenges of post-war reconstruction.